Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it has been a few days since I posted, so I'm gonna pop out a few today. Today we're gonna be talking about the Pentagon orders military bases to be renamed. I myself was an Army individual for 10 years. I did 5 years active and the other 5 in reserve. And when I heard this, I'm like, why? I have to definitely, hear why we're doing this and why the Pentagon is more concerned about renaming military bases than, recruitment and retention. So without further ado, let's get into the video with Fox and Friends.
Thank you. Listen to this. At least 9 Army bases will be renamed as Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin pushes to cut any ties to the Confederacy. But critics slam the military's focus on the names after the Army fell short of its recruiting goal by 15,000 soldiers, with other branches also missing the mark.
Okay, look at here. And if y'all didn't see, for the Air Force met 10% of their goal. Okay, look. I kind of knew this was the reason why they wanted to change the name of these bases. And why is this, when I just think about this is all happening under a Democrat administration. The Democrats are trying so hard to erase all remnants of their racist past. Not only were they the party of racism, they were the party of Jim Crow. Not to mention, with the first Civil Rights Act of 1957, they were the ones who filibustered it. And when the tide was turning against them when it came to the form of being so racist towards black people, that's when they decided to champion the Civil Rights Bill the next time it came around, because they started noticing that people weren't really on that, let's be a white supremacist. That wasn't going to go well. That wasn't going to go well in the next century. Okay, enough was enough, and people was done with it. So these individuals in their snake-like slithery skin decides to change the focus on them being that party, and focus on blaming or at least rewriting history and saying that it's the Republicans. If you ever go outside, there's a lot of videos on YouTube that shows this disturbing trend of individuals who even go to George Washington University, okay? When you ask individuals who was a party of Abraham Lincoln, a lot of people say Democrat. No, he is not a Democrat. He was a Republican. When you ask, well, who ended slavery? What party ended slavery? So many people, especially black people, I don't know where they get it from, they say Democrat. No, it was the Republicans who were the ones who came up with the Civil Rights Act of 1957 first. Was it they want to say the Democrats? No, it was the Republicans. The longest filibuster before, the first longest filibuster ever was by Strom Thurmgood. Thurmond, I can't pronounce his last name, but he filibuster for 24 hours against the first civil rights acts that would give civil rights to black Americans. That was a Democrat, okay? But if you mention this to them, it's like they're surprised. It's like, how did this happen? How did this happen? And yet, when should be more concerned about our retention, our recruitment, especially when you have so many people getting discharged because of the vaccine mandates, which, there's nothing democratic about that. People, the Democrats have a really good way of manipulating words and redefining what words mean. Just because you are a Democrat, that does not make you democratic. What was so democratic about forcing soldiers against their own religious views to take a vaccine? What was so democratic about that? What was so democratic about forcing individuals, period, all around America to wear masks? There was nothing democratic about that. But, these individuals here, they're so pressed and it's to change history because it makes them look bad. And instead of embracing it, how the Nazis did in Germany so they wouldn't forget their humanity, we are so busy, well, they are so busy trying to erase it, trying to cover it up. And then this fallacy, what will happen from this? What they hope to gain from this, it will not be, it will not, how can I say this? What they hope to gain from this, it will not end, and it will not end well. People, if you forget your history, you will repeat it again. You shouldn't. Okay, you should not. We should accept everything about our history, the good, the bad, and the ugly. No matter how difficult it might be to accept it, we're human, we're fallible. But if we do not understand why we are fallible, why this happened to be in the first place, and how we can, stop it the next time its head starts to protrude out into society again, we can stop it dead in its tracks and say, no, we will not allow this. So I don't understand why our leaders in the military or the Pentagon are more concerned about rewriting a narrative instead of embracing the narrative and saying this will never, ever, ever, ever happen again on American soil. No. But let's continue on.
Here to react is Army veteran and U.S. congressional candidate John James. John, good morning to you. This is news. So we have Fort Lee in Virginia. It's going to be Fort Greg Adams, Fort Bragg in North Carolina, renamed to Fort Liberty. What do you think about this?
Well, look, I'm a Republican. Let's not forget that Republicans, the party of Lincoln, erased the Confederacy and ended slavery the first time. I have no problem with renaming posts.
I went to Fort Gordon for my AIT training for Signal, and my first duty station was Fort Polk, Louisiana. So Fort Polk is named after the President Polk. I don't know who Fort Gordon is named after, but looking at these names, I'm pretty sure you guys can guess who. Looking at the left side, pretty sure you guys can guess who these individuals are or have probably read about them. We know who Fort Lee is named after, and Fort Benning, if anyone knows who Fort the spinning guy is. But I do find it interesting that they want to change all the Confederate leaders and aren't bases and name them something else. It's in my opinion, it's just despicable, and it's like they're trying to cover up something. It's like they're ashamed of something.
To get rid of that legacy. But at the same time, we shouldn't forget our history. We should learn from it. What I'm most concerned with is those soldiers on Fort Bragg in the past 2 years. There have been over 14 fentanyl overdoses. That's what I'm concerned with. I'm concerned with this administration's lax agenda that's leaving our borders open, that's letting this Chinese-made fentanyl come into our communities and poison our communities. I'm actually so focused on doing what it takes to keep our nation safe, our community safe, our soldiers safe. We need to focus on our combat power, and it looks like this administration is more concerned with renaming posts than taking care of the folks on it. I applaud the Army's efforts on substance abuse and anti-suicide efforts, and I'm looking forward to getting to Washington and supporting those efforts.
So you think that the military should be focused on other things, and one of the things that is a big concern among many is that the Army just missed its recruiting goal by 15,000 soldiers. That's not all. National Guard just lost 7,500 service members. The Navy only met 10% of its goal. Marine Corps only met 30% of its goal. The Air Force also only met 10% of its recruiting goal. Why are we falling so far behind, John, and what needs to change here?
Yeah, couple big reasons, and I used to work at the Lansing Military Entrance Processing Station, an institution that the front door of freedom that processes young men and women into the military. I saw this firsthand. I saw that we're not preparing our young men and women physically, mentally, and emotionally. And the pandemic has had an even more dire effect. You know, falling short of physical goals, like the Army, I applaud their ingenuity for a 90-day pre-boot camp training. But when I was growing up, we called that gym class. We need to focus on the basics: reading, writing, arithmetic, skilled trades, and patriotism. But the root of this, I believe, is you have the left that's teaching our young children, our young kids, that this country is a country of racist colonizers, and the number one threat is voting for Donald Trump. And we're surprised. We're surprised that when the left tells you that you shouldn't stand for the flag, and now we're surprised when our young people won't stand up to defend freedom. I think that we have to address the root cause.
John,
we have to be proud of our nation. That's why I want to go serve my country, because we live in an amazing nation, and we need to stand up to defend her.
Yeah, and we still have the greatest military in the world, but you have to wonder what the future of our military will look like if losing recruits and that trend line there continues. John, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I 100% agree with this man. How can you sit here and complain about recruitment and retention being down when this administration has been saying nothing but bad things about America and about Americans? This administration has been pushing out that America is such a bad place, it's such a racist place, that we are just, like, I don't know. It feels the way they talk about us is like with disgust. So why do you expect young individuals to stand up for a country that you have been beating down to them with this dangerous rhetoric that we are the bad guys? We are the most racist country in the world, that we don't give a shit about anybody, that we have so many problems, and we're so disgusted. Why would you want to stand up and defend us? Why would you want to stand up and defend 330 million racists and rapists and the patriarchy and murderers and all of those? Why would any young person want to defend that nation? We need leaders who understand the nuances of society, know that there's bad and good in society, but ultimately defend and represent their countries, their cities, their states with conviction, so that if we ever were to be invaded, or if any foreign country wants to come against us, we have patriotism that says, no, we will not let you come in and try to destroy us. Yeah, we may not be perfect, but hey, I will defend my land. I will defend our values. But hey, talking like that these days is white supremacy. So it's a white supremacist type of view. So keep on with this, and you're going to continue to see declines in our defense capability when it comes to personnel. But without, thank you for tuning in and listening to me rattle on about this. Like, subscribe, and tune in for more stuff. Until then, have a nice day or night.